Well, since starting my YouTube channel just over a year ago, I've created a fair puckle videos. Some I just haven't had time to show you. Well, I've been looking back on far I've been and far I've met over the last couple of months. Well, it gives me great pleasure to introduce one of Peterhead and Aberdeenshire's most well-known characters, and that is Jackie Stuart. Oh my gosh, we have a well-kent face, not only to the Peterhead Prison Service, but to Peterhead here as well. Who do we have here sitting in the chair today?
Jackie Stuart, prison officer for 25 years.
Peterhead Prison.
Peterhead Prison, yeah.
What did you do prior to coming into the prison service, Jackie?
I was a engineering fitter, served my time as that. Then I did my national service in Malaysia, then back to engineering. Then I joined the prison service in 1965 until 90.
Right, so 1965. So I was 5 years old, Jackie, when you joined the prison service here in Peterhead. Gosh, but it's good to know of your history prior to that. What was prison work like in the old prison where you served?
It was quite hard, like, you got all the worst prisoners here from other jails as well, like, and although you had some who just preferred to be in jail, they weren't so much bother, like.
What kept you going, Jackie? What kept you going in your work here?
Me, I'm just very thrawn.
You're thrawn?
Very thrawn. Mm-hmm.
So it's your thrownness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good quality to have, though.
So they say.
Jackie, when you think this prison was over 100 years old, how did the prisoners and staff view it?
Oh, just an accepted way of living, like. There was nothing else, and all the buildings were mostly Victorian. Rather out of date, I suppose, to modern thinking.
Jackie, when visitors to the prison museum come today, they're seeing it exactly as it was when you worked as a prison officer.
Well, it's better now than it was.
It's better?
It's better now than it was when I was a prison officer, like. There's no linoleum in the floor, and they only had table tennis, darts, and one TV for the hall, and that was it.
Obviously, the type of discipline from long ago, to now has changed drastically.
Yes, sir. Oh.
Can you speak a wee bit about that, Jackie?
Well, we had our discipline, but then again, the prisoners could take over any time. Because there's only two men in each gallery. So if they wanted to take over, they could take over.
So you really had to be ready for anything?
Yeah.
At any time? Mm-hmm. You were kept in
Depends which hall you were working in, like, because halls were different prisoners in different halls. But all your worst ones were usually in the same hall. So you had more trouble there than the other ones.
Jackie, life was never dull in the prison. There were many challenges. What was your biggest challenge, Jackie?
Well, I suppose my biggest challenge has been taken hostage and taken up on the roof and held there for 4 days. And do you want to know how it started off? Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, about 8:15 in the evening, a prisoner went to tries to stab another officer who had placed him on report in the morning for some small misdemeanor. And I went to his aid, got the knife off the prisoner, but then the whole hall had joined in, so I had to hand it back, and I was taken hostage with another officer and held there until the staff were all cleared out of the hall. Then it was gradually, we moved about through the evening to different cells so that they didn't know where we were. But eventually they took us up to the top flat, and they led us both out the floor and beat us with table legs. And then we moved about again, and eventually Bill got out because it was all wheeling and dealing. And I was left, and they took me up onto the outside onto the roof, like. and we stayed there. I'm sorry. The first night was still contained in the hall because they hadn't broken through into the attic space. But eventually the next day they broke through into the attic space and they was taken in there and then onto the roof and held there for the rest of the siege.
How long were you on the roof for, Jackie?
From Tuesday evening till Saturday morning.
Were you terrified?
It was bad at the time, but it's a strange situation. You sort of go along with them. You try and keep in with them and act in the same way. When they were throwing sleds, I wanted to throw sleds. Slagging the staff, I slagged the staff. Because you're trying, I suppose, survival, really. Because they were trailing me back and forth on the roof with a chain around my neck, and then they put lighter fuel in my pocket, and we got to set fire if anybody tried to come in. So there was nothing happening then, really. Police were going to take 12 minutes, which was too long, because they were going to stop me again if anybody tried to come in.
Was there at any point, Jackie, that you thought that you might not survive that experience?
Well, I never knew. When they put the lighter fuel in my pocket, in my head was to try something physical then. I would have had to do something couldn't let him just do that because they burned the jacket to let it see it could be done.
I don't know what to say, Jackie. Gosh, I know. You were to be commended, Jackie, of your bravery. How you held it all together. You know, in our my best Buchan accent, how you held that together. You know. In that most terrifying experience that most folk wouldn't have been able to cope with.
I didn't see bravery in it, it was just a case of survival.
Do you think your training as a prison officer, do you think that kicked in?
You didn't get much training. I wasn't time for that. There was too much trouble going on.
So in the prison service then, when you just had to get on with the job?
Yes, more or less. You were just thrown into the deep end. Every day, when I came here first, the staff assaulted every day, but then the governor wasn't punishing, so a crowd of us decided that they should go to the outside courts, and that they brought it down a bit because they got something added on to the sentence.
Because you had to protect yourselves. You had to protect yourself, Jackie.
No, well, all you had was a baton, which I never carried because they always had weapons, better weapons than us. There's always plenty of knives and everything. Everything's a weapon to them.
Well, may I say, I think that everybody else is viewing this would think that you were a very brave man, Jackie.
No.
You want to go
I'm
through...
just stubborn and Fran. No.
just Fran! Jackie, you have such a lovely nature and good sense of humour. Do you think that this helped the prisoners feel at ease?
Well, sometimes I could speak. I spoke to them in their language. So I just spoke to them in their language, and when new staff were showing around, when they came to me, they always said to the new officer, "Don't talk to them like he talks to them." But I got on pretty well with them. I was strict.
I would imagine that you were strict, but you were fair, Jackie.
I thought so. If they were entitled to, they got it. If they weren't, they didn't.
And that's how you commanded respect. And at the end of the day, I think it was that respect that maybe that you did survive the experience that you did, Jackie.
Quite possible.
You're retired now, Jackie, but you still play a very large part in the museum, and it shows your continued dedication to the prison service. And that's what I would like to thank you for, and I'm sure all the listeners would also like to thank you for, Jackie.
Thank you, but I'm glad it was done, actually, and they've made a very good job of it.
You were dedicated to your work. You were dedicated to those that you were, that were in your care, and you were dedicated to the prison service, Jackie. Well done.
That's it.
And may we look forward to seeing you many more times here and many more years to come in the museum here?
Got to be money left.
Oh, go on. Jackie, I just remembered when I came here to visit, as I've visited many times to the museum here, you were telling me a story about when you were held hostage, you know, in that time years ago on top of the roof, that you weren't sure if it was worse. Could you tell what was worse, Jackie? Tell me the story. Come on.
Well, I said I only went, it was my wife's birthday the next day, and I said I only went with them because I forgot to get her a gift, and that was the easy option.
What some folk will do to get out of getting their wife a birthday present, Jackie, that's not bad.
Because as well, I put out a story that I asked for overtime for all the time I was on the roof, knowing somebody would pick it up, and a prisoner put in his book and said it was a typical Aberdonian. That's not true either, like, but that's what I said. Like.
Brilliant, Jackie. One final thing, Jackie. There's been a book written about your work, isn't there, Jackie?
Yes.
Tell us about your book.
Well, I didn't see a story in it actually myself, but the SCORE personnel, they insisted that I did write a book, and that was done. And my proceeds go to Aberdeen Hospital for research. But without the SCORE pushing, I would have never done.
Oh, well, that's thanks to SCORE, but thanks to you, Jackie.
Right, okay. No.
So it's good night from me, and it's good night from him.
Well, there's another man that we need to portray before we complete this Peterhead Prison Museum story. So look out for the next episode.